The desert was a silence that breathed. At dawn, the light crawled over the red spine of the Chiricahua Mountains, spilling gold and ash upon the world. The wind moved gently through the Ocotillo and Mesquite, whispering across a land that had seen too much blood and too many ghosts. To the untrained eye, it looked empty, but to those who belonged to it, it was alive. Far out near a dry riverbed, 3 Apache sisters stood beside the water's ghost, a thin line of silver that shimmered only when the sun hit it right. Their names were Taji, Nayen, and Losa. They were young, but not children. Their faces carried the quiet hardness of those who had learned that survival was not given but taken. Taji, the eldest, was sharp-eyed and serious, her braids thick and dark as the earth after rain. She moved like a hawk, always scanning, always ready. Nayen was the middle sister, full of questions and laughter, that dared to exist even after the cavalry, raids and broken promises. Losa, the youngest, was the quiet one, the dreamer who listened to the wind as if it spoke a language only she could hear. That morning they were gathering wild onions when they saw him. A man alone. At first he was just a shape, a pale figure slumped beside his mule, crossing the open flat with the wobbling gait of someone who'd lost too much water and too much hope. His hat drooped low, his clothes were ragged. The mule looked worse. Taji squinted. "White man," she murmured. Nayen shaded her eyes. "He is dying." Losa felt her heartbeat quicken. "Should we help him?" Taji's jaw tightened. "Help a white man? After what they did to our mother?" But even as she said it, she could see the heat shimmering around him, the way his steps faltered, the way he fell to one knee, then didn't rise again. The desert didn't forgive weakness. The sisters watched him a long moment, torn between memory and mercy. Finally, Nayen slung her basket over her shoulder. "He is dying," she said again. "The earth does not care what color his skin is." Taji hesitated. The sun beat down unrelenting. "If we bring him to the camp, Uncle will be angry." "Then we will not tell him yet," Losa whispered. "The spirits will see our hearts." The 3 of them crossed the dry riverbed, their bare feet whispering over sand and stone. When they reached the man, he was lying on his back, eyes half open, lips cracked. His hair was sunburned gold, his skin blistered. Flies circled the wounds on his hands. He looked up at them through a haze of pain and confusion. For a long time, none of them spoke. Then he rasped, "Water." Taji looked down at him, her heart an iron cage. She pulled her gourd from her belt, tipped it, and let one drop fall onto his lips. The man's eyes fluttered. "Thank you," he whispered. It was the first time any of them had heard English so soft, so desperate. "You." They carried him between them on a makeshift litter of branches and hide. It took most of the morning to reach the small canyon where their people hid, a place shielded by red walls and thorned brush, where the Apache still lived unseen, waiting out the soldiers and settlers that claimed the land was theirs. When they arrived, their uncle, Cochina, saw what they brought and his face darkened like thunder over the desert. "You brought this into our home?" he said, pointing at the pale, unconscious man. "A white man?" Taji stood straight. "He would have died. We could not." "You should have let him die," Cochina spat. "Do you forget the fires at Sonora? The blood at San Carlos? How many white men showed mercy to your mother?" The sisters fell silent. But their grandmother, old Mother Tava, shuffled from her hut, her voice soft but sure. "Let me see him." She knelt beside the stranger, her wrinkled hands moving like wind over stone. "He is lost between worlds," she murmured. "If we turn him away, the spirits will turn from us too." Cochina clenched his fists, then turned away. "Do as you will. But if soldiers come for him, I will cast him out myself." "No." The white man did not wake for 2 days. During that time, the sisters took turns tending him. They cleaned the cuts on his hands, rubbed aloe into his sunburn, and spooned broth into his cracked lips. On the 3rd night, when the moon was a silver coin in a black sky, his eyes opened. He blinked at the flickering firelight and the faces above him. "Where am I?" Nayen smiled cautiously. "You are alive." He looked around, disoriented. Who are you?" Taji said, we are the ones who found you. You crossed the desert alone. That was foolish." The man managed a faint smile. "Name's Eli Turner. I was trying to reach Fort Stanton. My mule gave out. Guess I almost did too." He coughed and Nayen gave him water. His hand brushed hers accidentally, and he froze, staring down at their joined skin as if he couldn't believe it. For a long moment, none of them spoke. Then Losa whispered the words that would later be remembered. We never touched a white man before. Eli's breath caught. There was no contempt in her tone, only wonder, as if she had brushed the edge of a myth. He didn't know what to say. Well, he murmured, I'm honored. I know. That night, as the fire cracked and the desert wind sighed beyond the canyon walls, the balance between them began to shift. Eli was weak, but his spirit was steady. He told them about his farm, how he had tried to start anew after the war, carving a life from stubborn soil and lonelier nights. The sisters listened, though Taji's eyes remained hard. Men like you, she said, always come with fences. You draw lines through land that never belonged to you. Eli nodded slowly. You're right, but I never wanted to take from anyone. I just wanted a place to live. To belong. Old Mother Tava, listening from the shadows, smiled faintly. Belonging, she murmured, is not given by the land. It is given by the heart. The wind carried her words into the night. The desert woke slower now. Dawn seeped into the canyon like water through cloth, soft and cautious as if afraid to disturb what had begun there. Eli had been in the Apache camp for 9 days. His strength returned, yet something else had taken root inside him, a stillness he'd never known. The land itself seemed to breathe through him. Taji watched from a distance while he helped Old Mother Tava grind corn. Nayan laughed as Eli struggled with the heavy stone, and even Losa's quiet smile appeared like a small moon between the shadows. But for Taji, laughter meant danger. The more human he became to them, the less human he would seem to their kin when the truth reached beyond the canyon. That truth came riding on hooves. Before the sun reached its shoulder, Cochina returned from hunting with word that soldiers were combing the southern ridges. They look for a lost farmer, he said bitterly. They burn mesquite for fire at night, fools who think smoke does not speak. Eli went still. They're mine, he whispered. They'll think you captured me. Taji's gaze hardened. Then they will come for you. And for us. Old Mother Tava laid a hand on the fire. When the wind carries 2 scents, the coyote chooses the stronger. Perhaps we show them only smoke. Eli did not understand the proverb, but he understood her eyes. You mean to hide me? Taji folded her arms. You will leave before night. Follow the riverbed north until the cliffs split. After that, you're alone, Nayan protested. He cannot walk that far yet. He can if he wants to live, Taji said. Losa's voice was a whisper of wind through reeds. And if he goes, will the wind forget him? No one answered. I know. Eli prepared to leave at dusk. The sisters gave him dried venison and a skin of water. When he turned to thank them, words caught in his throat. How could he explain that the days here, these 9 strange, quiet days, had been worth more than years of trying to own a patch of land that never wanted him? Taji walked beside him to the canyon's edge. The light was dying, painting the desert in blood and amber. You saved me, he said. She shook her head. We only delayed the desert. It always takes what belongs to it. I don't belong to it, Eli said softly, but maybe I wish I did. Her eyes flickered, flint catching a spark. Go, before that wish kills you. He hesitated, then stepped closer. The air between them seemed alive, trembling with everything unsaid. He lifted a hand, stopping just short of her cheek. She didn't move. For a heartbeat. They breathed the same dust, the same fear, the same impossible longing. Then she turned away. If you touch me, she said quietly, the spirits will remember. Eli lowered his hand. Then let them remember. When he left, the canyon felt emptier than before. I know. Night brought thunder. Not from the sky, but from the ground. Horses pounding over hard. Earth, soldiers, their shouts echoed through the gorge as torches flared against the cliff faces. Cochina's curse sliced the air. They followed his tracks. The camp scattered like quail. Old Mother Tava thrust a bundle into Taji's hands. Medicine roots, a charm of bones, a prayer tied with red thread. The river hides only those who move, she said. Go to him. The others will draw the soldiers away. Taji didn't argue. She, Nayan, and Losa slipped into the ravine's mouth where the moonlight couldn't reach. Ahead, the faint prints of Eli's boots led north. The thunder of hooves followed behind. By the time they found him, he was kneeling by the dry river, gun in hand, eyes wide at the sight of them. They're coming, he said. I heard. We know. Taji pulled him to his feet. Move. They ran. Dust rose behind them like ghosts. The sisters moved as one, Taji fierce, Nayan quick, Losa silent. Eli stumbled after. lungs burning, the desert cutting into his throat. A shot cracked through the night. Another. A bullet bit the sand beside Taji's foot. "Down!" Eli shouted, dragging her behind a boulder. The sisters crouched low, hearts hammering. In the distance, fire danced, torches bouncing with every gallop. "We can't outrun horses," Nan gasped. Losa's hand went to the medicine charm. "Then we make the desert remember us." She rose, whispering in Apache, her voice weaving with the wind. A sudden gust tore through the ravine, lifting a wall of dust between them and the riders. The horses screamed, blinded. In that chaos, the four of them slipped into a narrow crevice carved by centuries of storms. When they emerged hours later, dawn was breaking again. The soldiers were gone. The desert was quiet, as if nothing had happened. Eli turned to them, exhaustion and awe in his eyes. "You saved me again?" Taji stared east where the sun bled over the horizon. "No," she said. "This time you saved us. Your coming made us move before the soldiers burned everything." He looked at her, searching for something in her voice, but she was already walking away.